What's going on, everybody? This is a big topic for a lot of people. 94 versus 90. Well, let's start with the characteristics. Everybody says it's a true two-stroke. No, it's just a two-stroke. That is just a four-stroke. Period. It uses mixed fuel as the lubrication and combustible material to run it. So the fuel and oil mix runs through the whole crank instead of having just oil going up and down with the piston to lubricate. The gas and the oil's in the crankshaft. So a four-stroke means, and a two-stroke for the people who don't know, it takes 4 cycles to make a complete revolution over this engine as to 2. What that means is that piston goes up and down 4 times to make 1 revolution. That means if you want to start with the piston up top and the spark plug ignites the fuel, it pushes it down. Alright, that's where your power and the valve. We'll start it from the top. The piston goes down. Alright, when it's down, alright, it'll come back up, and on its way up, the exhaust valve will come down in the engine and allow the darn exhaust to go out the other side of the valve. There's 2 valves doing this, going up and down, an intake and exhaust, intake and exhaust. But to get the compression ratio, it has to go up and down 4 times to do a whole revolution. So think about that a minute. Just Google it and look it up. Like I said, the piston will, after it fires, it'll go down, it'll go back up, and then to let it, the exhaust out, it does another one. So when it's letting that exhaust out, when it gets to the bottom on the next cycle, the end of the cycle, the other valve opens for the intake fuel. So here comes the fuel into the cylinder. When that piston's going up, it's pressurizing the fuel and air mix, right? Oh, I mean, it's just pushing it so tightly wound, and then when it gets up there, the spark plug ignites it and causes combustion and pushes that mud sucker down hard. So your 4 strokes are going to have a more torque, a whole lot more torque, when a 2-stroke only does 2 cycles up and down. It don't even have valves, it has ports. A lot of people don't know this. It has an exhaust port, intake port. The intake for the fuel is on top, and the exhaust is kind of down at the bottom. So the 2-stroke is made, y'all know what well, it's not really a Windsor versus Cleveland talk, if y'all know what those engines are from old Fords, you know, with a longer stroke and stuff. This thing has a more, 2-strokes has a more pristine. Used to, back in the old days, they was made to run wide open. Well, with the advancements of the carburetors and stuff, you don't have to run a 2-stroke wide open. Everybody says you do, but you don't. That's just a wives' tale. Yes, you can have carbon build up in them and etc, etc, etc. But this new 2-stroke with the type of engine they're using with the intake and stuff, they put that wheel on there just for that, to control the RPMs. Alright, so in other words, this thing, a 4-stroke, is at its peak capacity instantly. The 2-stroke has to wind itself up and get going. It's moving faster, oh, way faster than a 4-cycle, because it has no valves or nothing in it. So it just, and the 4-stroke is doing it a slower. I mean, it's faster than you can move your hand, but it's not as fast as a 2-stroke. But that 2-stroke gives you more of a variable, so you can give a little bit of throttle, a medium amount of throttle, and a high amount of throttle, because you're more control over than a 4-stroke. People say there's no medium to these things. Well, they are and there aren't. If you've never had a 2-stroke and you've only had a 4 mix, then yes, it does have a middle ground, but not like a 2-stroke. It's completely different. People will say with the 94R, well, it takes a minute to get it going. Well, that's what it's made for. It's a trimmer for precision. It's a precision instrument. Sometimes you need a lot of power, sometimes you don't need a lot of power, right? Right. So, there is no winner or loser here. These machines are fantastic. in my opinion, unless you have both of them, you really can't throw in your opinion. I know everybody has one, but you have to have both. This thing is a beast. Yes, the 110 is a little more powerful, the 130 is a little more powerful than the 110, and so forth. But not that much. These 90s, if that's all you have, these things are awesome, I know. But if you can afford both, you need to get one of each. Trust me. This thing will eat thick brush and stuff like a big fat woman would eat, bonbons or something. So the two-stroke will do it, but see, you have to have more RPMs up. Hold it wide open. This sucker, it's just night and day. You can't. This is a comparison video, but it's not, because you can't compare a 2-cycle to a 4-cycle. The engines are completely different in the way that they function. You just need to Google it. 4 strokes. 4 don't mean 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It means 1, 2, 3, 4, basically. If you want to get technical. Because like I said, all it does is one valve goes in, lets fuel in, it goes down, it combusts it, pushes it back down, then on its way back up, it'll let the exhaust out. As a 2-stroke, the exhaust goes down at the bottom. 4-stroke, the exhaust goes up at the top in the same head. That's what's cool. It's the same motor that's on your lawnmower, so don't believe all the, you need to adjust the valves. Well, how many times have you adjusted your valves in your car or your lawnmower? Not much, have you? This thing ain't never been took apart right here, and it's a 2011 model. Of course, I was the first one I knew that even had a 94R, so I got the woman to order them. They didn't even know what the frick they was. I was all up on that thing. But anyway, here is my official opinion. If you're only going to have one and you do lawn care for a living, 94R wins, hands down. Hands down. I'm sorry. It's an opinion, because of the ability to control the speed of the head. And I don't mean just 3 speeds like 90's got like a low, mid, and high, and that's it. That's about it, because of the way a 4-stroke cycle engine, a 4-stroke actually works. It just can't be it can't be as variable as a 2-stroke. It just can't. It's physics. It's the way that, just Google it and learn about engines and you'll understand what I'm saying. Now, if you're looking for a brush cutter, they ain't nothing that could. Why do you think Shindawa started making the same kind of engine as a 4 mix? They make the same thing as this, as Shindawa does, except the lawn surgeon has one. Those things are just, in my opinion, too strong to do trimming around flowers and stuff. It's just good Lord, man, those things are so torque happy. I was wanting to video and GoPro them, but I'm clean today. And I worked all day Saturday and I'm resting, so I just figured I'd throw this video up. I know it's a lot of talking and babble, and hopefully I helped you understand what a 4-cycle is compared to a 2-cycle. A 2-cycle is also easier to work on because there's no components to it. It's like 3 components. You don't have to worry about it. Alright, starting procedures. 4 cycles are always going to be 2 cycles. Always. They just do, because of the way they work. They're more efficient. That's why Stihl uses them. They're a whole lot more efficient with those valves because it controls the exact amount of fluids and exhaust and stuff. It has a better control with them valves. Like a 2-stroke jug has a little, just let's call them holes. A hole at the top of the cylinder wall lets the gas in, and the one at the bottom of the cylinder let the exhaust. Well, it ain't at the bottom. Like I said, Google it and you'll learn. But like I said, you can't compare these two. I'm trying to as good as I can. Now, if you didn't know this was a 2-stroke and this was a 4-stroke, and you was asking me which do I buy, this one, 94. Which one is more balanced? 94. Which one's lighter? 94, but not that much, but enough. Which one is more balanced? 94R. Which one is better at cutting brush? 90R. Period. Bar none. The 94R is capable of a brush cut blade, but it's not a 4-cycle. Like I said, it's an engine thing. It's not an opinion. It's an engine. You just can't beat that 4-mix torque. You just can't do it. So there is no winner here. If you have a 90R, you have an awesome machine. If you have a 110, you got an awesome machine. 130, so. As long as it has that name on it right there, in my opinion, you got a good machine. I don't care what anybody says. I love to argue with my buddies because some people can take it and some people can't. So I'm not going to badmouth no brand because they don't pay me to do none of this. This is just what I like. But the quality of these machines right here are unexplainable. How quality, until you get one. I know a lot of people, it seems like they'll go and start a lawn care company and they'll go to the hardware store, Lowe's, Home Depot, and they get what they have. And then that's what they become a fan of. Say you go to Home Depot, people will get a $200 Echo, and then all of a sudden Echo is the greatest machine on the planet. We all know it's a great machine. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying, buy more brands. Try out stuff before you make an opinion on it just because you own it. And some people will go to Lowe's and they'll buy a Husqvarna. And then all of a sudden Husqvarna is the greatest thing on planet Earth. All I'm asking is everybody to quit this fanboy stuff. I'm a fanboy still, but I don't get it. Well, y'all know me. I don't bash other brands or nothing. I like to joke with a certain person. He knows who I'm talking about. Just busting balls, but I like all brands pretty much except Tanaka. That Tanaka still broke down in there, and I'm so upset with it. But this is way too long. Alright, here's what's to come. I'm going to put my GoPro, and I'm going to fix that. The only reason my video was like vibrating on the 94, because the mount I used, it has a swivel top. And when I was noticing it, the bottom of the base wasn't moving, but the top was shaking that GoPro like that. So I'm going to correct that for y'all. And I'm going to put a blade or something or trim, and I'm going to go through some of these weeds over here or something. And like I said, the 90 will win that contest. There ain't even really no point of doing it. Now going around the house trimming, that 94 is going to beat that 90 all day long. Period. 12:40, and I'm getting ready to make another comparison video. That's it for now.